Everyone must remember that fateful day that Memories Pizza in Indiana went on television and said they would not serve pizza to a same-sex wedding. Crystal O'Connor, who runs the business, told local news outlet ABC 57, "If a gay couple came in and wanted us to provide pizzas for their wedding, we would have to say no because it was not reflective of their Christian values." After that, their pizza place remained closed from the backlash they received. And they received death threats. They were afraid to open their doors. A GoFundMe account was made created in response by the blaze by Lawrence B. Jones. Overnight, they brought in thousands of dollars for this pizza place, who was losing money every day they were closed. In Oregon, Sweet Cakes by Melissa was closed because they were by a regular customer. They were asked by a regular customer to make a wedding cake for their wedding, and it was for a same-sex couple. Well, they decided not to make the cake, and it made it on the news. This is their website. She and her husband closed the doors of her bakery when they were forced to pay $150,000 worth of fines. This is what happens when you refuse service. So someone thought of helping her out and their family and putting up a crowdfunding page for Sweet Cakes by Melissa. But the GoFundMe for her was shut down, along with many other pages. Here are the rules. Notice the campaign down here. Notice the campaigns in defense of formal charges of campaigns of heinous crimes, violent, hateful, sensual, or derogatory acts. So why might they add this? It could go back to Memories Pizza. This is Dan Tynan. He's a tech reporter for Yahoo. He became interested in the Memories Pizza story. Here's a tweet he sent out concerning Memories Pizza. He finds it very interesting that Memories Pizza is looking for $200K out of homophobes. This guy is a serious reporter. He has written an article on data. He knew a man named Emeril Townsend. He had died at the age of 39. The thing was, he may have been dead, but he found he was alive and well on the internet. So, like any good reporter, he called up GoFundMe to see what information he could find as a good reporter. Here's what the Blaze had to say.
Tell me about this latest that we know. Dana, I've been happy throughout this whole thing, and I feel like I've been very cooperative when it came to the media, doing
You have
stories
been.
for people that were on the right and left.
Right.
But when GoFundMe sends this message saying,
Share it with it. What did they send? Bring up, because he literally just got this, like, right before we went to air. I mean, minutes before, it couldn't have happened at a better time. Minutes before he went to air, this is what he gets.
This is their public relations manager. I have been contacted by a Yahoo reporter, and he is threatening to undermine both GoFundMe's and your credibility in his pending article. He requests account details that we normally don't share in order to protect your privacy, such as specific detail relating to the transfer of the funds, our team conversation with you. So basically, he wanted all the account. He wanted the numbers. He wanted to know basically he wanted our bank accounts. Think of somebody coming to your personal bank account and saying, I want all that information. Because that's essentially what this is.
And if he doesn't get it, then he's going to write a bad story that's blackmail.
Apparently, and this is their public relations. So she felt scared.
And this is GoFundMe.
Yes.
GoFundMe, who has all kinds of different, they don't have a political stance on it.
Yes. And I want to say I appreciate them, because they could have fell to the left pressure and say, you know what, we'll just turn it over. Or when they attacked us and said, no, we didn't go through all the proper channels with GoFundMe, they could have said, you know what, I'm just going to give them what they want.
Right.
But they didn't.
Do you think they're under attack now specifically because they allowed this account?
And I'm going to stand with them because they're under attack. They are.
Wait, did you talk to this Stan Tynan earlier today?
I did talk to him.
Tell me how that went. Was he nice? Was he?
You know, it was like any other interview. Whatever question they were asked, I'm just going to give them the truth. So I walked them through the process. When they pushed back into, is this for publicity? Is this to promote the show? I went and said,
publicity for that business,
right,
yeah.
Exactly. We followed what GoFundMe asked us to do. Right. They wanted to make sure that this was a legit show. They wanted to make sure that Dana was a host, and they wanted to make sure that I was a legit contributor, and they wanted to know the process and the story that led up to us creating this account. And we provided that information in order to be transparent. We didn't have a problem with doing it. We posted that same information on the GoFundMe account because we figured everybody else would have those same questions. That was the process.
Right.
Apparently they don't like it.
So when you spoke with Tynan this morning, did you get any indication at all that this was going to turn around? He was going to use this as some sort of hammer to go after your credibility?
No.
And why? That, to me, does that sound like journalism to you?
That's not. That's not.
To go after someone's credibility because you don't like the fact that a fundraiser occurred online that you didn't like. Oh.
So when you don't get the story that you wanted,
narrative journalism.
They wanted us to say that we hate the gays.
That's what they wanted.
That was the narrative that they wanted. Then they wanted to paint all these conspiracies saying that we were funded by the Koch brothers, that all these other right-wing organizations that are supposedly be rich poured money into this. When our average donation was like $10 bucks. Right. These were a lot of Americans coming together saying we're going to support this organization. Right. And because some people decided to be anonymous because they like to attack them and give them death threats, they threatened my own mother. So I can understand why people didn't want to share their personal information.
Yeah, we saw that over and over again. Well, why were X amount? And there were a lot of those who donated that got on Twitter, more than I can account, more than on all my fingers on both hands, that were saying, you know what, we were one of the people that donated anonymously because of people like you saying it to a specific reporter or saying it to one of those other activists who was going at us earlier today. This is why we donated anonymously, because people like you smear and attack.
As a matter of fact, yes, I can. The Blaze is owned by Glenn Beck. So, even though, like, they said all that, the things that they said still could have been taken from a whole bunch of different point of views, where even if they were being truthful because of the media that Glenn Beck presents, the fact that the person who works for him put out this GoFundMe, it could have been taken wrong, which is probably why GoFundMe could have thought about thinking twice about how they looked about stopping about having something like this from happening again. I mean, it's all up to interpretation, but they were looking to protect themselves. Thank you very much.